Alright, so this next kind of category or subcategory of boondoggle techniques I'm going to talk about is stitches which are, in a sense, normal, where they're just, created by placing a number of square stitches beside each other or a number of circle stitches beside each other. But the catch here is that the combined end shape is not simply a square or a rectangle. So if I were to say, a normal stitch would be something like a square super brick, quad, brick stitch, 4x1, 5x1, 4x2, 3x2. All of those would be, I guess, more normal because they're all a rectangle shaped stitch or a square shaped stitch as an end result. But today I'm going to show projects that involve stitches which are based off of that same pattern, but not really a rectangle. So fluted columns falls into this category. Here is a fluted columns boondoggle. So the beginning part and the end part are straight, but then the middle section is a twisted fluted columns stitch. Here's another project done with fluted columns, and then this one uses the triangle stitch as well. Here's a combo with the fluted columns as well as the 3x3 or non stitch right here. And then here's a zigzagging twisted fluted columns. So the fluted columns is a normal stitch in that it's just done by making a bunch of square stitches, but those stitches are arranged kind of in a plus shape. So here's a larger fluted columns, and this also is a combo with the pentagon stitch as well. This is a combo of splitting between this larger fluted column stitch and then 4 pentagon stitches. And then I want to show next the Scooby tunnel would also fall into the category of this video. So as you can see, this one I didn't do a finishing stitch. So you can see all it is a bunch of square stitches, but all those square stitches are arranged in a square that is hollow in the middle. So this is actually the only Scooby tunnel I've really done that was the full 5x5 size. I'd love to make more Scooby tunnels, but the final set of projects that I wanted to show in this video fall into the same category, but they are getting a little bit more progressively irregular. So a lot of these use kind of like an L-shaped stitch. So here's the first example. So as you can see, the stitch here is it's 3 square stitches that are arranged in a sort of L. So this combo, it goes back and forth between the straight version of this L stitch and then a twisted, when you twist it as well. So when you twist it, it's interesting because in total this is technically like a 2x2 or a quad stitch, but when you twist it, one of kind of the 4 columns is missing. So each of these twisted sections almost looks like a tornado stitch that's missing one of its 4 kind of tornadoes swirling around, if that makes sense. So pretty interesting. Here's another combo. This one is made entirely of those same L-shaped stitches, except the difference here is that the gap in the L sort of rotates around as it goes down the boondoggle. And then the last 2 I'll show. These involve even larger L-shaped stitches as well as other stitches too. So here's this boondoggle here. It starts off with a large L-shaped stitch, as you can see, if I can get the keyring thing out of the way. So it starts off with a two 4x1 walls that are connected in an L-shaped way. And then as it continues on, I actually switched through a handful of different stitches. So after this first L-shaped stitch, it goes into kind of a bit of an irregular X-shaped stitch, where the yellow strands there become the longest strands, and then everything else is, so it's still 4x1 walls, but on this second section they're kind of crossed rather than just meeting at the corner. And then it kind of inverts that X, and then it goes back to an L again right here, except that L is the opposite direction of the first L. And anyway, this boondoggle just keeps doing that as it goes down. And then finally I have this, which is in some ways just a larger version of that last one that I just showed you. So this one begins with two 5x1 walls forming an L shape, and then it continues to kind of shift those 5x1 walls over in order. So all of these intermittent stitches here are all kind of like big X-shaped stitches. They're all kind of like fluted columns variations. In fact, this section right here, where these two purple strands are the long strands, is where they're meeting together at an exact X, where right in the middle of the two lines is where they intersect. But that's this last project. So again, when you're making boondoggles, if you want variety, it's best to not restrict yourself to making stitches that are just square shaped or rectangular shaped, but it is best to have a little bit more of a variety so that you can create a lot of different projects. So thanks for watching.